Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 3 of the big block Ford Ranger build. Today, we're going to be putting the firewall back in it. I got an old refrigerator out there at the range, and I'm like, it's metal. It ought to work. So, I cut a piece of metal out of it, the whole side of the fridge, and we're going to use that to put the firewall back together. It's metal. It should be safe. Anyway, welcome to Tree Row. We'll do the intro thing and then I'll see you back here. Welcome back. So this is a piece of metal that I got from the fridge. Just a piece of sheet steel. It's about a 1/16 of an inch thick. About the same as that firewall. I may have to put some kinks in it in order for it to be nice and rigid. But that's the plan. I did a little bit of cutting. Well, come here. Let me show you what I've got thus far. And then you'll be caught up to speed. I'm hoping like crazy that my rad hoses and everything comes in so I can plumb it. Anyway, so there's firewall. I'm taking out this sound deadener with the death wheel, the thick death wheel, and I cut this. This was sitting way back here, so I made a mark, cut it, and then reformed it, and then that's sitting down there. But anyway, we got a lot of firewall to fix. And that's what we're going to be doing with that piece of metal. Look, it's already got some sound deadening material on it. Might come off, don't know. But anyway, I got to get to cleaning all of this stuff up and get to welding. Got some headers in too. Look there. A little bit of updates. No, that is not going to stay there. Anyway, so we got inverted big block headers. I did have to modify with a gas axe because, you know, plug clearance and head bolt clearance. But yeah, I plan on running these out the fenders or right out the hood. But it's gonna look pretty cool. It's gonna look pretty rad. So anyway, that's some catching up to do. And if you haven't watched episode 1 or 2, you might want to check that out. That way you can get to where we're at. It'll be like right there, I believe. So yeah, that bar right there. Anyway, click on that, and that's the playlist. And watch that, and then you'll be caught up. Sweet, I'm gonna get to grinding. So as I was doing that, I decided, you know what? Let me pull the motor and transmission out so I'm not getting all of that crap all over it. And then I realized, looking at it from this angle, mind you, like I said in the last episode, and the episode before that, this is my first time doing anything this crazy. I'm looking here, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wait a minute, you idiot. Seal it up from the bottom. Weld your metal to the bottom. And then seam seal it on the top and bottom, right? Makes sense, right? Yeah. Well, now I don't have to go through and get rid of all of that very irritating sound deadener stuff because I can weld everything from the bottom. I can clean it all up, get my piece of metal. Let me show you. Get my piece of metal and then shape it and boom, it's easier. Come here, look, take a peek, see. All right, so you get down here to my perspective. See how small of a gap that is? See how it lines up? See how it lines up? Up here I can get creative. Up there, that's on the inside. I had to do that on the inside. But I ain't got to deal with that garbage that's on the floor. Okay? Simple. I've been in the firewall. You know, I started shaping the firewall, right? That just seems like it's a lot easier to me. You know? I mean, those of you that watch the channel, some of you guys may have already have done something like this. I have not. You could have commented below, be like, hey, big dog, you do this, it's easier. Anyway, I'm glad I figured it out before I started, you know, just blasting the welder and wasting a whole lot more time taking all that sound deadener off because, man, let me tell you, it is a mess. You see the crap that was on the floor whenever you was down here? Yeah, that's from that. Not to mention the piles that's in there. Okay, so now I'm just gonna you know, shape a little bit. I've been beating it with a hammer, a perfect little body hammer here, a waffle head. Not at all. It ain't gotta be perfect. You know, it ain't gotta be perfect. Just bend it. Shape it to the desired shape. Yeah, that's, man, I could have thought of many different words than that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah. And then I'll get some cardboard and I'll just kind of make some shapes, right, with cardboard, cut it out. And then that way I can get this tunnel cover, pinch seam, pinch weld. I can notch it for that so I can shape it around. And then I'll actually get a body hammer and a dolly. Dolly goes on the back side of the metal. And as you hit it, you'll bounce and you'll flatten it out and it'll make it real nice and smooth. That I do know how to do. Yeah, that's, somebody should have told me. So when it comes to using cardboard, I'm sure a lot of you guys that do fabrication, there we go, got it out. We'll do this. This is just, you know, a rectangle, and I have that slot for the tunnel cover pitch weld. So I cut that out of it, molded it up there. Yep, that'll work. So there's that. And then here's my piece from the refrigerator. As you can see, it still has the same shape. It has that, and I can go over here, put it in place, screw it in. That way I can know that it's right, kind of shape it and everything, and then weld it in. And here's what we got. We got that piece of metal screwed in place right there, all the way back, wrapped around the tunnel and the floorboard. Come inside. There's still going to be a little bit of fabrication to do up here, obviously, but there we go, we're connected. Up there is going to be several cuts, so that's going to be a little interesting. But the easy stuff is done. Now, rinse and repeat for this side. It is now nighttime. I had got a phone call from a friend, and they're like, hey, my airboat ain't running right. So, you know, bam, went over there to change out a carburetor. Anywho's away. I got a little carried away from the last time that you saw this, okay? Listen, hear me out. I just started fabricating. That's kind of what I do. I got a vision and I just start going. Let me show you what I did. And sorry I didn't bring you along, but you know, things. So I sealed everything. I have not welded yet. This is just all zip screwed in or machine screwed in, tech screw, whatever you want to call it. And I just pulled the carpet back to see what it would look like. And I still have a couple of pieces of metal to put in just to close that gap, right? Just because of aesthetics, that's just who I am. It doesn't look like it should, and I don't like it. But anyway, I've been sitting here staring at this. I need to tack this in so I can seam seal it, and then that will be a sealed firewall. That does not go into the cabin. That is the windshield wiper motor. I have one hole there and one hole over here that I haven't sealed up yet because I still need to pass this line through, which is my oil pressure gauge. So I haven't decided if I'm going to go there or if I'm going to go right there. So those holes are still there. I still have the door over here, but I want to show you something really cool. So my buddy AJ, you've seen him on the channel if you've been watching for a while. He 3D printed me this. This is a test piece. It's going to be done in that, I don't know, it's like a, what is it, like a carbon fiber glass type thing. But anyway, this is going to be my switch panel. Focus in. I'm tired of you not focusing. Anyway, sit here, flip this up, turn this on, that's ignition, boom, start, you know, fuel pump, fans, and something else. But anyway, he's 3D printed me that. That is fantastic, and I appreciate him a lot for that. So anyway, I got to get to welding so I can throw some seam seal on here. Mind you, I haven't ordered it yet. I'm a busy guy. I don't know what to tell you. Turn the gas on. Gas is on. Mind you, I'm doing all this with a 110 welder. Just to show the average Joe that has a few tools can do this kind of stuff as well. Like, I'm not a rich YouTuber. Not by any means. Let's see, good ground point. Right there, that seems good. Turn the welder on. But you guys are kind of bringing me up in the world, and I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. You know, it helps everything grow. Ooh, I gotta change this from grind to weld. That would suck. I'm sure some of you guys have done that. All right, let's see. Let me just pop the squat right here. Is that too hot? That might be just a smidgen too hot. Let me just settle this down a little. Try again. Tack weld. Tack weld. Oh, I burnt through. It's still too hot. Let's just try again. Listen, this ain't my big welder at the shop where I'm welding 1/4-inch steel all the time, and it's just sending it. I gotta dial her back a little. I gotta figure it out. Going out. Oh, that's much better. Oh, that's perfect. Go down here. There we go. We're just looking for tacks. That's all we need. I mean, if you look at the auto industry, it's literally just spot welds what's holding your vehicle together. So I'm figuring I can do the same thing here. Spot weld it and then seam seal it and check it off the list. All right? Okay. Right over here. Got updates here. I got a little carried away and didn't record. But anyway, I put a coat of primer on there. It's kind of a glossy. It's just whatever I had. So I still have to seam seal it, but screwed and tacked, and all through there I still have to cut off all of the screw tips sticking through. That way it's nice and safe. And in here, same thing. Screwed and tacked. So I still have to, like I said, still got a seam seal, but now it's like 20 degrees here in Florida, which is very strange. So I can't really seam seal it right now. And then there's kind of the contraption I got going for the steering knuckle. I got it held in place with a bungee cord, pulling it as far towards the driver's side as possible. It's coming down in here. I will have to kind of drill the original steering knuckle right there so it goes through the angle gear, and I can put a roll pin or a bolt through there. Goes into the angle gear, comes down onto a shaft, going into that steering knuckle right there, going into the rack and pinion. And that is going to allow plenty of clearance for the header. I say plenty, it's barely going to clear the header. But anyway, it's nice and safe. If we go in here and we look, you can't really tell, but the steering shaft is not in any kind of a bind. So that is A-okay. This hole right here I'm leaving. I'm going to put a grommet in there because that's where my tack and my ignition hot's going to go to the coil. If we're out here, if you remember, the distributor sits right here, bam, directly behind it. I'm going to try to keep from any wires being shown underneath the hood. That's going to be awesome. Next up is cutting an actual good piece of steel. This is part of the steering shaft. So this is hardened steel, and that's going to replace that. That's just my real thin, like 1/16 of an inch steel that I had, so I can mock everything up and get it basically put where it needs to be. And it's gonna sit a little more like that right there. So everything's got nice angles to it. Alrighty, I got my steering kind of mocked up here, a little more permanent. It's kind of affixed. I'm in the light. So this plate is welded on. It is not bolted to it, but I've got it affixed in such a way that now you can kind of see it work, but it wants to move, right? Because it's not bolted down. But there's no binding, and it's going to turn the wheels just fine. I am rubbing a little bit up here, but that's because that bolt is not tightened down all the way. So now I'll drill 3 holes here, bam, 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 and these are threaded so I can actually mount it from the back side there. Go in with a bolt on the back side, bam, mount that solid. I cut it off here because I'm going to build another bracket to come back here. So it's, you know, it's kind of got a gusset on it, and then I'll weld all this in solid, front and back, side to side, like switches. Anyway, there's that, and I'm so excited because that was some engineering right there. And that should pass tech because none of those joints are more than 20 degrees, and that's a big thing. That way the wheels will self-center. Okay, we're going to take a break from the truck for a minute because I didn't do this in the last episode and it kind of flopped. I got to invite God in. So I'm going to do that this episode by giving you a testimony. As many of you know, I deal with individuals with disabilities. I'm a rehab chair expert. I also modify vehicles with adaptive equipment for those who are paralyzed from the waist down or missing limbs, and they can still drive their vehicle, right? So that's what I do. I get a service call, I get a phone call from a therapist like, hey, can you come fit this lady to this chair? Because the facility that she was in, or still is in, but the previous administration over that facility threw her chair out because it didn't work without contacting anybody to come fix it. And our maintenance guy came and we purchased one, and she needs to be fitted for the chair. I'm like, absolutely, no problem. I'll be there tomorrow. Fast forward to tomorrow. I go up to this lady who's in this Permobil M3. It's a full rehab chair. And she has many different health conditions, right? Skin conditions and health conditions, and she's paralyzed basically from the waist down. Well, not paralyzed. She has MS, and she can't use her legs. Some days she can kind of move them around, but not much. She's basically paralyzed from the waist down. I'm looking at her, she's in this chair, and I'm like, honey, I'm sorry, but this chair ain't gonna work for you because you need power elevating leg rest and power recline, and all you have is power tilt in space, which means the leg rest and the backrest and the seat all go together and tilt in space, right? People with these kind of disabilities can't just have that because blood pools because they don't move, right? So blood will pool in these areas, and she can't she can't move her legs or her feet on her own. She needs power assist, right? So I make the chair fit her. I'm like, here, at least be comfortable until us in this administration can figure out how to get you another chair. This is how God works. They've been praying about this for 4 months and trying to get something together for her, and they've called other companies and nothing panned out, right? I get back to my shop that afternoon. It's towards the end of the day, and I get notified that a chair that I had donated previously is back in my possession. And it's the exact same chair, just with all of the functions that she needs. Power elevating leg rest, tilt in space, recline, and elevate, right? All right there at the touch of her fingers, and she can do it as she feels that she needs, right? It was donated back to the shop. Hallelujah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I call up the therapist. I'm like, you're not gonna believe this, but I got one. Therapist breaks down. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's all God. It's not me, it's God. This is how this works. So I'm like, I'll bring this chair out tomorrow. She goes, okay, fantastic. You know what? We're not going to tell this lady that you're going to bring her this chair. Because at this point, she still thinks that she's got to wait for another chair, right? So I go to the gym. Whenever I get out of the gym, I have an hour or so before the shop opens, right? So I start adjusting this chair. My technician comes in because it's getting close to 8 o'clock. He starts helping me adjust this chair because I fitted her for the previous one, so I remembered her measurements. And I get it right? I get it ish. I get it right-ish. I go over to that facility. She doesn't know that I'm coming. I take the chair into her room. She's kind of looking at me and she's like, wait a minute, that don't look the same. I go, correct, because this is a chair that is now yours that has all of the seat functions. And I'm going on about it. She breaks down and she starts telling me the whole spiel that I kind of just told you. And I go, it's not me, it's God. This is for you. This isn't for me. This is for you. This is 100% free. You don't need to purchase anything. You're good. I get her in the chair, and it's the first time I fitted her. It's the first time that that facility has seen her midline straight since she's been there. She's sitting perfectly, she's comfortable, and she's able to maneuver around so she don't get pressure sores, because that's how pressure sores happen. Blood pools in those areas, pressure sores happen, and now it's bad. Those individuals, if they get a pressure sore, it's bad news bears. And then I get done fitting her, the therapist and the lady in charge over therapy is all standing there, and she's like, I gotta go back to my room for a second, I gotta get my purse. I go, you're not tipping me, this is for you, here's my cards, you need anything else, call me, see you, bye. Didn't take nothing. And it's just, that's how God works. So if you're wanting something and you're praying about it and you need this situation, don't give up on it. Continue to pray, because God is moving in a way that you don't understand yet. And 9 times out of 10, it's better than you would have thought. Back to the video. Thank you. Okay, it is several days later from the time that you saw me mock up the steering knuckle, the steering system that I built. Well, I got my ears lowered and I've just been busy, unfortunately. And I've had to order some more parts, like the shifting cable, because what I figured out I can do since I put the motor back in, and I'm going to show you the clearances and everything here in just a second, but I figured out what I could do is take the OEM shift cable from that column shifter, modify it just slightly, i.e. take the center nut out of the Turbo 400 shift mechanism, put the forward one in, and lock washer or star washer and the nut back on. Shifts just perfectly, but I broke the tab, the little plastic tube, so I got to order one of those. So yeah, I'll be able to use the column shifter. Let me show you what I got here. I know this video has been a little bit longer. I'm trying to shorten it down, so we're cutting it off here. Here's our clearances. So there's our header. I did dent it in a little bit just so we clear that steering shaft just fine. We're clearing underneath the brake booster. I have my gusset down here for the right angle bracket, right? Or the right angle gear bracket. And you can come down here and it's still serviceable. You see that knuckle there? You see the right angle gear there? Freaking serviceable. That's one of my things, man. If I build it, I'm going to make it to where I can service it. But anyway, she's sitting in there and everything is clearing now, so we're safe. And I'm really procrastinating on doing the cooling system just because, well, it's 20 degrees here in Florida and I'm not a fan of that. I got my heater out because I'm probably going to, do some of that tonight. But we're going to shut the video down here. If you look down there, you'll see that that is a Ford shifter bracket, and that's the Turbo 400 shifter bracket. Well, I just married the two, so I can use that. Yeah, I like that. And it's also too cold for me to do my seam seal because I can't run this heater in this shop all night. So anyway, there she sits, and we are almost ready to build this engine. I think I may have one more episode of doing the truck, like doing things around on the truck, because I still got to put my harness bracket and everything, or the harness bar behind the seat and all of that stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the cooling system and the harness bar in the next episode. And then we get to tear into this, rebuild it, put some race car parts in it, stick it back in and drive it. Well, not really drive it yet. We got to break it in, right? 2,000 RPM for 20 minutes. That's so scary. So that's coming. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of the things. And we'll see you next time working on this thing again right here on Tree Row. See ya.